Ready, fight!
Welcome to the cave. What's going on, team? Caveman here, and welcome to State of the Franchise. This is going to be an NFL series that we're going to look at each and every NFL team. We're going to go through their chances for the season, some best bets. We're going to check out their roster strength and depth. We'll be checking out their moves that they've made. We're going to dive deep into their schedule, see where their schedule strength is, check out which little areas we can exploit throughout the season and where teams are going to have their do or die moments. Now, we're going to look at some player props on blue chip talent players as well. Will your team make it to the Super Bowl? Is it just about growth? And is it just about beating your rivals? Or are you destined for that number one overall pick? It's all here on State of the Franchise. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy. It's football time. Now we're going to kick it off with the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Buffalo Bills went 13-3 last season, first in the AFC East, and they ended up falling short in the conference championship game. They've made a few decent moves this season. Their losses aren't too bad. Generally, backup guys. John Brown, he never really did much for the franchise anyway, was probably their biggest loss. Acquisitions, really like the Emmanuel Sanders get. I do think Sanders is over the hill, and he's not going to be as good as what he once was, say, when he was at the Steelers or at the Broncos even. But he is going to be a guy that is going to have to take a coverage man away. So hopefully Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs should be able to get a wee bit freer. Now, another one that I like, and this may be a little bit controversial, but I like the Mitchell Trubisky signing. I think Trubisky is a brilliant backup quarterback in this league, and to have him behind Josh Allen, I think is a really, really good get. Now, the roster strength, let's check it out. On the offense, I'm going to come out and give them an A-. Decent offensive line. It's made improvements. I don't mind it at all. Defense, yeah, it's still got a few pieces to go. I'm a little bit iffy on the cornerback position. I really like the linebackers. Hopefully a first-round draft pick, Greg Rousseau, if he can come out and play really well from that pass rush spot, that defensive line could be a bit more shored up. But I'll give them a B+ on their defense. Still has a few areas to improve. Depth-wise, I like the depth. Offensive depth, really, really good. I like the depth along the offensive line. Even though they don't have that top tier caliber of players, they still have a really good second round. The wide receiver depth, not too bad either. Some really good young players coming through in that wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 spot. Obviously, Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback as the backup, and you've got the Zach Moss, Devin Singletary combination at running back. Overall, not too bad. Matt Breida in there for running back as well. Can't forget about him. On the defense, not quite as good. I'm going to give them a 3 out of 5, but let's just see how they start the season. That could easily drop down to a 2. They've got some nice pieces in the back end for depth-wise, but 1 or 2 key injuries like Matt Milano going down in that linebacker spot. We saw how crucial he was to them last season. So linebacker depth, not the best. Defensive line depth, not the best either. Don't mind their secondary depth, but we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Now, on paper, I've written out every single offense, defense, special teams. I've gone through the entire roster for every franchise. On paper, I think they've got the second best roster in the league. I mean, this may be a bit weighted towards them because I don't mind the Bills, but on paper, second best roster, not bad at all. Now, if we have a look at their schedule this season, they are going to be playing the AFC South and the NFC South. Not too bad. I mean, that gives them a pretty healthy matchup. There's teams in both of those conferences that are not going to be very good. Panthers and Texans and Jags and Colts and Falcons. Wow, pretty much everyone. Bar the Bucks, maybe the Saints, and the Titans. Well, we're going to check it out. They've got a .478, which is tied for the 23rd hardest, so the ninth easiest schedule on the slate, which is pretty good. Their opponents last season went 130 and 142 win-loss. Yeah, it's about average there for a -500 team. And they're going to be playing 7 playoff teams from last season. Now, the playoff teams are a wee bit mixed up because, of course, the Patriots didn't make the playoffs last season and the Dolphins just missed out. Both teams are still good sides, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Their key stretch this season is going to be weeks 8 to 11. So during this time, they play versus Miami, at Jacksonville, at the New York Jets, and versus Indianapolis. This is a very key stretch. They have a hard start to the schedule, and it gets easier later on. This stretch, they have to win, I would say, all 4 of those games. It's going to be very crucial because, like I said, Miami and the Patriots, they're not bad this season. I don't mind either side. So those are 4 games that I think they're going to have to get on a bit of a streak and win all 4 of those. 3, definitely, absolutely. If they only win 2 of those games, it is big, big trouble for the Buffalo Bills. Now, my prediction, I've broken down the schedule and I'm going to go with 11 wins for the Buffalo Bills this season. So that is 11-6 in the new 17-game season. Their total right now is sitting at 10.5 wins. So we're going to take a look at the over. Although anything where I'm only getting to half a win on each side, I'm probably not going to bet myself. But if I had to pick a side, I will be taking the over 10.5 and look for Buffalo to end the season at 11-6. Now, let's check out some player props for the season. Of course, you can't go past Stefon Diggs, absolute legend of a wide receiver. He's came out in the 5th round at Minnesota. He's done great things ever since. Now, Diggs had a brilliant season last year, went over 1,500 yards. He was the most yards receiving in the NFL. I expect him to take a wee bit of a step back this year. Now, a lot of that will be because of the depth that the Bills have at wide receiver. They're not going to have to be forced to play him as much as they did, even though they still will play him on a lot of the snaps. He won't be as targeted as much. Now, Emmanuel Sanders, as I was saying, he's a great guy as a possession receiver these days. Obviously, he used to be that deep range threat. I see him more as a possession receiver now in his older age. He's going to be taking more of the coverage. And if people aren't giving him the respect, then Sanders is going to be open for those catches. Cole Beasley, I think this is the breakout season for Cole Beasley as long as he can stay healthy, and that's always been Cole Beasley's problem, is his injury concerns. If Cole Beasley can stay healthy, I think he will chew into Stefon Diggs' production as well. Now, my other player prop here, Josh Allen, under 4,650 pass yards. That number is just too high. This is even more than he had last season, and that was a massive breakout year for Josh Allen. The problems that the Buffalo Bills had last season is the run game didn't work. I expect the run game to be better this year. They've got a triple-headed beast coming out of the running backfield now, so I expect Josh Allen to be able to ease back a wee bit on the passing yards to get more of a closer to a 50-50 combination with the run and pass plays. Of course, Josh Allen, also a threat on the feet. I can't see him beating his passing yards total from last season. If there's more of a chance that he goes a lot under, considering that was his breakout year. We've seen a lot of guys who've expected to have these amazing breakout seasons, and it's really just been a one-year wonder. I think Josh Allen is actually a good quarterback. I just can't see him repeating that, not this season. And if we look at some lines here, so to win the Super Bowl, win it all for the Buffalo Bills, paying $12 plus 1,100. Not a lot of value there for me. I think there's a lot of good teams coming out of the AFC this season. AFC is pretty stacked, so I can't see the Bills doing better than what they did last year. Uh, Tennessee Titans are better. Baltimore Ravens are arguably better. The Chiefs obviously have got another season of, well, Patrick Mahomes, so they're obviously going to go far. If we look at winning the AFC East at $1.66, no value at all. I really don't like that. This AFC East is a lot more open than people give it credit for. And just to make the playoffs at 125, I mean, minus 175 is not great, is it? For a team that if they don't make the playoffs, questions are going to be asked. All right, guys, so that does it. That is the state of the franchise for the Buffalo Bills. Thank you for joining me. Now, of course, guys, check out my other videos in the series as we work our way through the entire league. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can see when all of our great content drops. I'm Caveman Bets, and it's football time.